What's going on, everybody? It's the Scene Snob here, and this is the Scene Snob Reviews, and this is Thursday, so of course I'm continuing on with Star Trek Picard, and this is Episode 8, Broken Pieces. This is a spoiler-free review because a lot of information is passed through, so I just kind of want to touch down on the things I liked and I didn't like about the episode. Some things I really liked about the episode is you get Rios' background and what happened with him in Starfleet. So, and I actually kind of enjoyed that. I enjoyed, like, how he is connected to the overall story, but also like how dedicated he was to Starfleet and things like that, and how much it really messed him up. And he now you kind of also see the connection between he and Rafi, because during this episode, he when he meets Soji, there is a connection, and it is explained through the episode, but that connection is what cost him his place in Starfleet. Rafi had a very similar, we know, had a very similar run-in with Starfleet Command and where she went from there, how she got bounced out. So it's very cool. Rafi does a whole investigation to try and figure it out throughout the episode. And it works out well. Like I thought that was a cool dynamic. We get a good connection between Picard and Soji. We also get a bit of a connection between Picard and Rios. And the thing I liked about both of these interactions was you get more of Picard the mentor. Is very similar to like how he would talk, how he would help when he saw people suffering. Like he knew the right words, the wise words to help with. They have figured out the overall plan of what Narek and Narissa are trying to do. And O is a part of that. Commander O is part of that as well, and where they're trying to go from there. And now they're spending the trip trying to get to DS-12. Of course, that's Deep Space 12. They're stationed out there, so they're headed that way too, because now finally Starfleet understands what's going on, and they're going there to help them. The way we find this out is Picard meets with Clancy, the same commander he met with in the beginning, who cursed him out. This is something I really didn't like about it. She cursed him out yet again, but to agree with him to be on his side. And I didn't understand that. I don't understand. It seems like they're playing it up for laughs. But it's just, again, it's so dismissive to Picard, and I just didn't like it. This guy had to go out on this whole search to prove something that he felt and knew. Not just that, but a man who has done as much as he's done in the Star Trek universe, and he's still getting cursed out by this woman, very disrespectfully, even though she wants to tell him, like, we're on your side, we're coming to help you. So going on, like, we find out with Agnes, like, what she saw when Commander O mind melded with her, what that whole group is the Valshak, and why they're doing what they're doing. So it is important. It is cool how they play it off. We find actually there's a more in-depth reason why they have the cube, the Borg cube, and why they're there and what they're doing, and it involves around Narek and Narissa's aunt. So again, I don't want to give anything away. I think that should definitely be checked out. So there's a lot of information passed through, and we find out Soji has a home planet that Bruce Maddox set up, and it's a very cool situation like they're going through. So this episode was overall a very good episode for me, because you are getting a lot of information. I think it's setting up the last two episodes pretty well. It's probably going to be a pretty crazy couple of episodes. So I'm excited to see where they take it. But I think my most favorite part of this episode is 709 shows back up, and she's with Elnor on the Borg cube, and what happens with them. I hate to ruin it because it is pretty surprising what happens, but let's just say she takes over the Borg cube, and from there, like, it's a very hard decision for her to make. But then something surprising very happens on Narissa's side. So I want to leave that to you guys to watch. So if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So comment below or send me messages. I love to interact and hear more about what everybody thinks. But overall, I thought it was a really cool episode, especially from the bad guys' perspective and what they're doing. Um, and I do love the interconnections. There are some things I didn't like. I didn't like that Agnes kind of rehabilitated real quick when she started talking to Soji. Like, I'm suffering, I'm suffering, I'm suffering. I did all these terrible things because I'm suffering. And then Soji walks in and it's like, I'm completely changed. My mind is completely changed. At least give me a little bit of, rehabilitation or something, or distrust or whatever. So it seems like everything's all right now. But regardless, that it was still a pretty good episode. So I mean, it's leading towards these last two episodes that I'm really excited for, and that's a thing. That's the important thing. Like, if I'm really excited to go into the last two to see what happens, I think that's the best takeaway you can get from these. Sorry, I'm still working, like, because I'm used to doing spoilers, but this was a very information filled episode, and I don't want to do that. So go check it out. Like I said, if you have seen it, comment. Let's talk about it. If you haven't seen it, and hopefully you enjoy it as much as I did. I will be back next week for episode 9, which is part 1 of the finale. And yeah, until then, make sure that you are hitting the like and subscribe button, because we have content coming up every day, podcast shows, everything like that. Make sure you're following on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at The Scene Snob. Go to thescenesnobs.com. It has links to everything and where to find it, all the shows, on all the social media, on all of the podcast platforms, or for the YouTube channel, and all that stuff. So thescenesnobs.com is the best place to go for everything. Or if you want to find the social media, it's on there too. So until next time, I am the Scene Snob. I hope you enjoyed my review of Star Trek Picard Episode 8, Broken Pieces. And I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.